Hey guys, it's Alexis Clow. How you do? Green flags. I'm not sure if we're gonna get into red flags. Maybe. I don't know. And we're gonna be talking green flags and boys. Maybe green flags in. Oh, also girls too. Sure, this applies for girls, but I'm talking boys for me. Anyway. Oh wait. Here's my microphone. Okay, how it do? It's Alexis Clow. I'm happy that YouTube brought you to me. For some reason in my brain, that sounds like it's gonna rhyme, but it just doesn't when it comes out. Okay. You're balancing on my dresser on one of the little pool knobbies. Let's talk green flags and people. Maybe this can apply to friends too, or just in any context that this applies for, but I've noticed some. Because recently, I have gotten out of a relationship. And I've been reflecting um on what I would want in another person, not because I'm looking, okay? Not because I'm looking for anyone, but I think it would just be cool to you just uh, kind of just know my preference and what I want so that naturally when things do come around, I'll feel prepared instead of like throwing myself in something, right? So I miss you boys. Hi baby boy. Oh, sure. That kind of starts us off with a green flag, okay? A green flag, how do they talk to animals? Does somebody treat animals with respect? Do they treat them with respect? Or are they just like, they're a little animal, they don't have feelings? Like, okay, this also goes for like just your average Joe animal, like a deer or a bunny or even a caterpillar or something, okay? And I think this will also reveal a lot about somebody's heart or if they're connected to their heart, by the way. I don't know. If someone is really kind to an animal, I think it's also a green flag if somebody like speaks to animals like and is like speaks to animals in a way that is nurturing to their feelings. I think that's a green flag. Because first of all, if some maybe in some cases, I feel like if somebody is talking kindly to an animal at their feelings, like they're probably going to do that for a human too that are like openly known to have feelings. Like I do, of course, without a doubt in my mind, think that animals have feelings, of course. But I've also seen a post before that said people that talk to their animals like people um, are very emotionally intelligent. So that could be a green flag. One that is more prevalent on my mind because recently I have been like, I've just um I have recognized that I'm pretty self-aware of myself. And this isn't I mean, honestly, it's to give myself credit where it deserves. I am pretty damn self-aware of myself, and I realize that self-awareness sometimes it really comes from being truthful with yourself, right? It really comes from like I don't know if there's anybody else watching this that feels very self-aware, but I think you can't I mean, maybe you can, but in my experience, you can't be self-aware if you don't tell yourself the truth, okay? Because when you actually let yourself look at the truth, you allow yourself to look at like all of you, the good, the bad, okay? So, but I think that when somebody is self-aware, they're truthful with themselves. And if they're truthful with themselves, they're probably going to be truthful for you with you. And to me, I think truth is a really green flag. If somebody's lying to you, oh my god. Oh my god, just for your own sake. God, oh my goodness gracious. For your own sake. I want to say like kick them to the curb. But you do you. Okay, and I can't even lie. I have definitely lied in relationships, but a girl is trying to do better. Not even as a girl trying to do better, a girl is doing better. I don't lie. I speak truth. That is what I choose, okay?
I won't even tell someone it's good to see them if it doesn't really feel that way anymore.
I don't know. That's probably what I would do if someone's not truthful to me. Because what the hell? What do we not have to be truthful about, right? Like, I don't know. I think truth is very important. I think it's very important. I think it's the language of the spirit. It's the language of the soul. Oh my gosh. Maybe this is where like authenticity comes into play. I think authenticity is like very soulful. And really in alignment with the soul. And authenticity, in another way of saying it, is truth. It's being true about who you are. So maybe this leads us to another green flag. Is somebody authentic? And again, I feel like if somebody's not authentic, this can be for a bunch of different reasons. Maybe somebody, because I know sometimes I experience this, that I feel scared sometimes to be who I really am sometimes. Because I love to talk to myself. I love to talk to myself. I love to talk to my spirit team. I love to talk, just all of these wonderful, like, I love to talk about, like, kind of, like, deep concepts that not everybody around me I hear talking about. So sometimes I feel like an odd one out. And I think, I don't know, for a while I felt this was kind of getting a little bit like a I don't know, like a freaking, like an instruction. Not really, but I don't know, like a little backstory about me. So tune in if you want, if you wish. But yeah, I think, I don't know, sometimes I just felt like shunned when I think when I was younger, because this has not always been the case where I've been scared to be my real authentic self, but I think sometimes when you say something and you feel outcasted, or like, I think sometimes that can make you feel scared to be who you really are sometimes. And there is a way around this. You just have to put yourself out there, keep putting yourself out there.
I also think working with your nervous system can help, and like just really being there for yourself and resourcing yourself, perhaps. And maybe even recognizing that you being authentic is for you, not for other people.
And really focusing on yourself. And one thing I've also been realizing right now is being understood by other people. I just want to understand myself. And I think sometimes the weight and the value of allowing yourself to express what you really need to express and say what you really need to say, I think that, especially after years of suppressing yourself, to anybody watching this that might resonate, finally giving yourself the green light to go, finally allowing yourself to express yourself isn't about being accepted, it's about accepting yourself. And when you finally give yourself the green light to say what you really need to say, to be who you really are, to be who you really need to be, that just satisfies your own soul, that value and that impact, I think, at a point far outweighs the negative things that people could say, especially when you realize that other people can only meet others as deep as they've met themselves. And anything somebody is thinking about you, I promise they probably, most likely, I can promise you anything anybody is thinking about you is probably, most likely, guaranteed, maybe, connected to like the same frequent, or in alignment to like a negative frequency that they're feeding themselves. So like if someone's saying that you're ugly, they are attuning to that frequency of thought wave and thought form within themselves that is feeding very, very similar things back to themselves, isn't, if not the exact same thing. Okay? And also, another thing is, there is a million ways to respond to the same situation. Okay? One person would say, "Oh my god, I freaking love your attitude." Another person would say, "Who the hell do you think you are?" And first of all, why does it matter who I think I am? Like, there's a million ways to respond to the same situation, okay? I want you to know that. It's might feel so personal sometimes if people are mean and negative to you, but I think also when you look at the flipping weight of suppressing your own self for so long, that hurts. Like, oh my gosh, that hurts. Like, I'm starting to get to the point where I would rather somebody else hurt me than me constantly be hurt by my own self of suppressing myself time after time or holding back the words that I want to say, because that mother flippin' hurts too. It's like, pick your poison, babe. And when there's other people being mean to you, there is ways to rise above that and for that to not affect you anymore. For you to realize and change your perspective in a way that honors and nurtures your own growth over even absorbing that negativity. But anyway, this is like green flags with like a splash of like wisdom. So, yep. What are some other green flags? I think another green flag is somebody connected to their inner child. I do think that's a green flag. And like, also I want to say, I'm not shaming people that aren't connected to their inner child. I'm not saying if this isn't acquired, if there isn't this green flag, then it's a red one. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying these are some green flags that I feel like I felt before. I think I've also realized in terms of like relationship, like romantic relationship too. For any of my other women out there that feel really like strong in themselves, or like just um that feel like really powerful, and that kind of radiates, right? Or like you're a strong female, a strong woman, okay? I think it's important that we find ourselves another strong romantic partner, okay? That feels confident in themselves, that feels confident in the value they bring. Because I can promise we're all valuable, we're all worthy, but does your partner see their worth?
And I'm not saying like it's a bad thing if people don't see their worth. That's not my intention here, but I'm just kind of pointing to, does your partner feel threatened by you? And if they do, does that cause them to try to like shorten you? That's what I'm pointing out here.
Do they see their value? Do they feel threatened by your power? And I'm not talking power like, oh, I got power over you, but like, your strength, like your soul power. I'm not talking like egotistical, which I think that I'm not against shaming the ego. Like, I'm not with that. I meant to say, I'm not with shaming the ego, but that's a whole other story. But anyway, but like, just, I think it's important that we strong ladies out here be with men that aren't feeling threatened by us, by our power, or feeling insecure, or like we're in competition with our partner. I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but I think it's a green flag for a man or a woman to feel really confident in themselves and their own place in the world, and in who they are and the value and weight that they bring to the table. Because if you're a really strong bad woman, or even like a really nice soft, and that's your strength, because softness is a huge strength as well. I'm not talking strength just in one form, but like, I think it's important that we find, and it's a green flag for us to be with a romantic partner, women or man, that feels confident in themselves and not threatened by you, okay? Or intimidated by you, okay? Especially with us women, because I've also been seeing too that like, and like how, the man's supposed to be like a container or like contain the women, and I've been learning a lot too about like the different roles in relationships. And I'm not saying like we have to stick to a role or a structure in relationship, but I've just been learning about I guess like the divine masculine, if you want to say like that, or like the roles of that masculine energy, and then the roles of the, feminine energy. But yeah, the masculine, like I think it's a green flag if your partner stands up for you, and if they don't, that's a red flag.
If you don't stand up for your partner, or if you don't stand up for your partner, or if somebody else doesn't stand up for you, and they're your partner or a friend, yes, this is a red flag, I think, if it doesn't apply. But still, no shame to anyone that doesn't stand up for your peoples, but it is a red flag. Because I also want to add, why would like your partner's friend think it's okay to even talk to about you in a negative way? Like, that makes me wonder, what is the partner like initiating? Why does the friend think that's okay? What is your partner doing to make them think that's okay?
I know that one from experience, okay? Sometimes you make mistakes. Sometimes you see what the heck you don't want in relationships, and that's how you figure out what you do, okay? If your partner does not stand up for you, I just want to tell you that, first of all, you deserve to stand up for you, and you deserve to be standed up for, okay? I'm not talking like we need our partners to like beat people up. I'm not talking that. But if, let's say, your partner's friend is talking about you, your partner should put their foot down and stop that immediately. And I've had experience with that where that just was not the case. And looking back, I'm just like, what the heck? What the fuck? Especially when I'm learning about the divine masculine energy, dude. Like, what's the masculine is supposed to protect, provide structure, and I'm not saying like we all have masculine and feminine energies, but like, come on. If you're dating someone that doesn't protect your name, that always is choosing other people's sides, I just want you to recognize your worth. That's all. I just want you to recognize that you are so valuable and that you are so worthy, because sometimes that's all it takes when you're settling for less, is realizing the worth and the value that you are. And when that happens, then you recognize where people are undermining that, okay? And that's where a lot of power lies, I feel like, is recognizing, hold up, oh, you do treat me with my worth, or you don't, okay? And then there comes the decision. But anyway, um, maybe let's end this off with one more green flag. What's another green flag? Hmm. I honestly don't know. Yeah, but I feel like we should end this off with a nice green flag. I got that power. Okay, another green flag and something that I'm looking for in a relationship is definitely somebody that is kind of dedicated to personal growth as like a way of living. Okay, like I'm not talking 2 months personal growth, but that's somebody that is actively, naturally, dedicated to evolution within themselves, that they want to evolve, they want to grow. Because I'm somebody that I feel like I've experienced outgrowing certain people and certain relationships, and I think that that's kind of natural in life a lot of times, but I am looking for somebody that's dedicated to evolving, not just to put on a show of like, you know, a facade of, oh, I'm dedicated to evolving, so that, I'm talking like not just someone manipulating and acting like they are so that you let them in, but somebody that's actually dedicated to personal growth and growing and expansion. I think those are all great green flags and something that I'm definitely looking for, because I will outgrow you if you're not growing, okay? And sometimes I just cannot be having that. But anyway, I hope that you guys like this video, and maybe, this helped you. Maybe this just made you giggle, or yeah. But if this helped, or if it didn't, I don't know. If you want to like this, that would be awesome. You don't have to. Just do you, boo. But I hope to see you again if you like this stuff. And thanks for joining and hanging out with me. Ah. And maybe you can leave some other green flags or red flags in the comments. But let's be nice, everyone, okay? I love you. Thanks for hanging out for me for these past 19 and 20 minutes. Okay. Bye. Toodaloo.